Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
It is episode 228 of Weather Weekly. Good to be with you. I am meteorologist Marcus Bailey, Wish TV in Indianapolis. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I know it was pretty rough for parts of our state, especially on Friday. That would have been Friday the 16th. Significant severe weather event that happened in the state, and a lot of damage from what looked like a pretty large tornado. There's still some surveys being done as of this recording. They preliminarily did rate parts of a tornado on the ground in Monroe County, not far away from Bloomington, Indiana, as an EF2 damage. But there will be more, but there are certainly signs on radar. And that's not always the sign that they rate on. They will look at all the damage path and everything like that. But EF2 damage there could be some chances that it gets a little bit larger because radar did show some pretty significant signs. I'm going to spend more time on that in a future podcast once all of the data comes in. But that was one of the more significant severe weather events that did kind of come into play. It was a moderate risk, level 4 out of 5 risk on Friday for those areas. Definitely verified. And even north around the metro area, it obviously didn't see tornado warnings, but a lot of wind damage, trees down, trees into homes, a lot of power lines down too. So pretty significant event on Friday. We will have at least one chance, it appears, of some severe thunderstorms. As of now, doesn't look to be quite as intense. But something that you need to be aware of as we enter a very busy week. Many kiddos, either this is the last week of school or we have one more week after. So we will keep you updated on that here. We're going to walk you through the day-by-day forecast, talk about that severe weather threat. Also, the Indy 500 now within view. We will talk about that and what we know. It's in the week ahead for the week of May 19th, 2025. That's next on Weather Weekly.
Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off, plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50, code LISTEN50.
It is the week ahead for May 19th, 2025. Let's go ahead and start with the 19th. That is Monday. Decent day. I don't really see too many significant issues here for your Monday. We're going to start off with mainly clear conditions, I think, early. And then we'll start to gradually see clouds kind of building throughout the day. Could we see a few showers? Yes. There are some hints that we could have something very early in the morning because there'll be a complex that's coming out from our west Sunday night into Monday. But the thought process is that the air is going to be awfully dry, at least early on Monday. So any rain that tries to move into the state likely falls apart. But sometimes you can see that there's a decent amount of moisture with those storms that they may hang on and you may get a little bit of rain in the morning. But I'm going to leave at least much of the daytime hours dry. And again, I think we'll probably get a decent amount of sunshine and some cloud cover building throughout the afternoon. Monday's highs will be in the mid-70s. Now, as we go into Monday night, that's when we're going to see more of a robust complex coming in here. Especially as we get into the overnight hours. Right now, kind of leaning after midnight. where we'll start to see widespread precipitation. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder too. There's going to be an upper low approaching and a warm front attached to that that'll be lifting kind of closer to the state starting after midnight. So we'll introduce at least some showers here. Tuesday, I think, is going to be kind of the main event. So Monday's overnight lows will fall into the mid-50s, so that's not too bad. Tuesday then, that's the 20th. This will be the highest chance for showers and thunderstorms in this extended forecast. All right, and it's a pretty good bet that we're going to be wet. And we're talking widespread rain. We also have to be aware of possible severe weather, especially in the southern portions of the state. I'd say south central at most, probably more so the southern third of the state. So kind of the same areas that were under the moderate risk on Friday. Places like Bloomington, Nashville, Columbus, Seymour, North Vernon, Bedford, all the way down to the Ohio River. All right. Don't know if the threat is going to be as high as what we just had on Friday. Doesn't appear like it's going to be that high. But I do think you've got, since you're riding along a warm front, you may have just a little bit of spin in the atmosphere to create tornado potential. I also think damaging winds are going to be a concern. And there could be some hailmakers too, okay? So all three modes of severe weather are in play. In addition to that, probably going to be pretty wet, where we could be talking over an inch of rainfall for some locations, okay? So we're pretty saturated in a lot of spots still from some of the heavy rain that we have received in the past week. And so that could just agitate some things. So please be aware of that. All right. There just doesn't seem to be the ingredients that we had on Friday, though. There is instability, not as much as what we had on Friday, but it is enough to create some thunderstorms. And so there's enough of the other ingredients that we kind of look at to at least say, hey, let's be on alert. Again, that's going to be for the day on Tuesday. Does look awfully wet outside of any severe weather. Tuesday is going to be rough for any outdoor plans with widespread rain and some downpours. And it's going to be cooler, too. Highs are only in the mid-60s on Tuesday. And I think our shower chances will continue into Tuesday night as well. Overnight lows on Tuesday night will be into the mid-50s. All right, let's roll into Wednesday. I think we're still going to have some continued chances for showers and thunderstorms as this upper level low, again, continues to float across the state. No severe weather, I don't think. You could get in the situation where you get some of these what we call cold air funnels, just because there are some spins going on with that low that'll be overhead. Cold air funnels are not tornadoes. Sometimes they can be classified if they do touch down. They rarely touch down. If they touch down, very minimal damage. These are very weak little funnel clouds, basically, that could reach the ground. But in most cases, they do not. But they look scary. But they're not connected to a parent thunderstorm circulation, or a mesocyclone, what we call it. Okay, so that is a possibility. Outside of that, you're just talking scattered showers. Don't think it's as widespread as what we had for Tuesday. But you could have some downpours, all right, from time to time. So be aware of that. And it's going to be cool again. Well below average. Wednesday's highs will be into the mid-60s. And then Thursday we will have that upper low kind of sliding into northeastern United States and into Ontario, Canada. But we're still kind of on the back end of it. And so close enough that we'll see some chances of showers and thunderstorms, but I think we'll probably have, it's one of those days where we'll have more dry time than wet time. Okay. And that, again, that's on Thursday, and it's still going to be cool being on the back end and on the influence of that low. Thursday's highs may not even make it out of the 50s in some spots. I'm going low 60s here in Indy. Okay. All right. Now you get past Thursday, the payoff is, when you need to have the good weather for a busy weekend in Indianapolis, I think the way I see it, it looks pretty good. All right. So let's talk about that. So that low is going to start scooting off to the east and northeast, probably goes offshore by Friday. All right. And so that's going to do a few things for us. It's going to take the rain with it. And eventually it will help warm things up. Now, I still think we're under the influence on Friday, which is Carb Day, of a northwest airflow, upper level flow. So what does that mean? We're dragging in air from Canada. It's likely going to keep our temperatures below average. Although, because I think that low is now far enough east that we're not going to get any precipitation, we likely get a lot more sunshine for Friday. And so that in turn should help warm us up. Okay. I still think we're going to be below average, but we're closer to average. I'm going to go mid and upper 60s for highs on Friday. The weekend then, Memorial Day weekend, right now, I don't see major issues. I mean, I always use caution when talking about the 500. Because, I mean, even just a little bit of rain going over the track can delay things. But this looks like a situation we might be in pretty good shape here. Saturday, we're under the influence of Canadian high pressure. Not going to be super warm. We're going to be under a northwest flow still, but I don't think it's as strong. It kind of flattens a little bit. So probably slightly below normal, but I would say extremely pleasant. Winds don't look to be too bad. And you're going to be sunny. I've got a high of 70 on Saturday. Sunday, I think we're going to be a little better. That is race day. We'll go mostly sunny skies. Again, we are under the influence of high pressure. I think we're going to start to kind of modify the pattern, flatten out the pattern a little bit. And so that should get us back to near normal. I'm going to go highs mid-70s for race day right now, and I'm going to keep rain out of the forecast. All right. We will see how much that changes. Obviously, and I've mentioned this before, I do this podcast usually on the weekend here. So, officially it is a week out. There can be some things that change this late in the forecast, but definitely seeing some of those signs that not like it was last year, where it was kind of iffy, whatever. And the only thing that would cause me a little bit of concern, but again, because we're so far out, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but there's some hints that we go into Memorial Day and then maybe after that, we kind of ramp up the pattern a little bit. All right. So like, for example, the American model, the GFS model, does bring rain into our state by as early as late Sunday night. Okay. And then Monday potentially could be pretty soggy. All right. Same with partially Tuesday morning. So the only thing that would give me pause about race day is because that's the GFS model, but I should mention that the European model is really delaying the onset of that moisture until Monday afternoon and Monday night. Okay. And so I wouldn't dive in this deep probably on a day that's 7 or 8 days out, but it is an important day, obviously. If the models start to speed up that rain, then that does put the race in jeopardy a little bit. But, it's only one model that's really kind of putting it as early as Sunday night. And the more consistent model, I would say, as of late, is the European model. Excuse me, that is holding the rain off until Monday afternoon at the earliest. Looks like more so Monday night. So we will watch. If those trends start speeding up, we might be in trouble. So it's worth a mention in this podcast. I'm not going to mention it on TV. Because again, this kind of stuff happens all the time, right? It's very similar to like forecasting snow. And when you see all the snowfall models, that are over a week away and like, oh my gosh, we're going to get 20 inches of snow. And then by the time you're about 3 days out, somehow it got trimmed down to 3 to 4 inches. And it happens a lot, right? So that's why we don't hype up stuff, talk about stuff, unless you're closer about 5 days. I wish we could get to a point that we were a little bit more consistent on that. The technology is just not there yet. But you can see pattern signs. Definitely look like we're going to get some rain chances, probably somewhere early in the week, going into Memorial Day week. We just got to get the timing down right. And so hopefully we can clear it out, be gone, or it doesn't start until well after the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday. By the way, the high temperatures on Sunday should be in the mid-70s, which is average for this time of year. So that will be lovely. And then just kind of looking at the extended pattern, Memorial Day, mid-70s, Tuesday, back to work and school, mid-70s. I think Wednesday, the 28th, still holding in the mid-70s. So we're back to average as we go into that final week of the month of May. In terms of 7-day rainfall, we'll take a look here. And again, I think a lot of this is probably going to fall on Tuesday. Okay. And I said probably get up to an inch. There's some areas that could exceed 2 inches of rainfall over the next 7 days. And a good chunk, not all of it, but a good chunk could come down on Tuesday. So got to watch out for the severe weather threat, but watch out for some standing water, some flooding, some maybe difficult commutes in and out of work for Tuesday as well. All right. All right. Coming up, we're going to wrap things up, look at some of the statistics for the month of May, and we'll look ahead to potentially some days leading into the new month of June. That's coming up next on Weather Weekly. All right, let's do some statistics here for the month of May, already obviously on the second half of the month here. Precip for the month, 2.66. We're actually down 1/100th of an inch, believe it or not. So we're right at average. Last year, we were a little bit higher, 3.57. We're still very wet for the spring season since March 1st, 13.46. We're up 2.76. We're actually down just a touch from last year at this time at 13.81. And since the first of the year, 16.15, we're actually down a tenth. And we're down almost 4 inches from where we were last year for the year. All right. Let's talk 8 to 14 day outlook, shall we? This would take us from the 25th to the last day, 31st. And it kind of goes along the lines of what we were just talking about, that we do have that cooling trend. Remember that our average high now sits in the mid-70s. And going into race weekend and into the following week, so the week of Memorial Day, low to mid-70s technically would be below average. Pretty strong signal that that's where we're going to be. I don't see outside of, the cool days that we have in the forecast, middle of the week this week into the 60s. I don't see those kind of numbers between the 25th and the 31st as of right now. But again, below average for much of the Midwest and pretty active still. And we mentioned some of those rain chances early on, Memorial Day potentially heading into Tuesday. 25th through the 31st could be a bit soggy. Just a slight signal for above average precipitation in that time frame. Let's go ahead and do the 1 month. This is for June. This was issued on the 15th of May. And much of the United States, outside of Maine and northern Alaska, has pretty slightly above normal chances for above average temperatures. And the strongest signals are kind of out in the desert Southwest, Four Corners region, southern Texas, and then southern Florida. Those where you may be talking about really strong signals for above average temperatures. And then precipitation for the month, kind of the eastern half of the state, just a very slight look for above average precipitation here for the month of June. June, one of the wetter months that we typically have in the calendar year here in central Indiana. All right, that'll do it for this week's podcast. Hopefully you got all the great information you needed. You can always shoot me an email anytime with any comments, concerns, complaints, suggestions. Marcus.Bailey@wishtv.com. You can also reach out on social media at Marcus Bailey Weather on Facebook and then at Marcus Bailey on Instagram and X. You can also get our forecast 24 hours a day at wishtv.com/weather in our free Storm Track 8 weather app. Just search Wish TV Weather in your phone's app store. And you can get my forecasts Monday through Friday locally in central Indiana, Channel 8 Wish TV in the Indianapolis market, and anywhere around the world online, wishtv.com, and click the live stream button there. And you can get my forecast Monday through Friday from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Hope to see you there. While you're here, make sure to check out all the other great podcasts, all part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon, and God bless.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.